basically decided what we're talking about the second before we hit record.
I'm literally holding down the button that when I release.
What are we talking about?
We'll start the show, and I'm like, so
I got a couple of things.
That's when I decided to initiate that conversation.
Anyways, welcome to another exciting edition of Gentleman Dog Portrait, GDP.
Welcome.
Goat Dairy Product.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, there we go.
That's nice. See, you got a good one.
The cheese-themed podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm Dean.
And I'm Mike.
And we're here to update you guys on a couple of... we're not really update any. Like, we're just kind of like talking. We're shooting the shit here. This is fun. We seriously should get like a couple of guest stars on here.
Shooting fish in the barrel.
Guest stars! Basically friends that we know that are fun to talk to. Barely stars, but stars in their own right.
Welcome to... Yeah, I'll have to get another a different style chair for them.
Yeah. Oh, we could pull out an executive chair maybe.
Yeah. Like an
one
office chair.
Yeah, one of those velvet ones with like the bronze studs.
Yeah.
Kind of like, how is that? They're like, nice.
Dean's on like a futon couch, which is in its couch form.
This is like a love seat, really.
Yeah,
it's a futon.
It does become a bed.
This is like twin size bed, maybe.
And I'm on a kitchen chair. So what we need next?
The glamorous conditions upon which we do this show.
A bar stool and like an office computer chair.
Well, we can't have anything better than a futon or a kitchen chair, so maybe bar stool might be the way to go.
Yeah.
Maybe folding chair.
A stool with two legs and one leg shorter.
Oh god, that'd be funny.
The tilted seat.
Alright, so things that have been going on lately. Mike's still doing his job, and he got a crappy ride back.
Yeah, it had some delays, so it sucks when you're working 12 hours and you assume that you would like to sleep for about 8 hours, and so that leaves you with a small amount of hours.
That's like a small margin of error there, really.
So if anything that takes, like, if it takes me an extra hour to get home, it's like, well, I guess I just will, like, sleep less today, or like not do this thing I was planning on doing, like can't go grocery shopping today or something.
Yeah, but that's 4 days out of the week, honestly.
Yeah, and then I have
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then you get like the 3 days to bullshit.
It's actually 3. If you look at it as me working the night and the night being the time that I'm working or having off, it's like I have 3 nights off, but it's sort of like I have 4 days off. So like I arrive home Monday for the day, and then I don't go in until Thursday night. So I have all day Thursday also. I have all day Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But I only have 3 nights. It's only weird if you have to sleep.
Honestly, it's like a college schedule. I remember back in college, unless you did some things that you're not proud of, or maybe you like suck somebody's dick at admissions. You basically got a crappy schedule that. Basically, 2 days out of the week were perfect, or maybe you had like 2 classes, and then it's like,
it was always like strange and random, like who you had time off with, also. Like,
exactly.
Like,
these are my Thursday friends.
Like, hey, yeah, let's say, yeah. Oh, well, I have class at 4, and you're like, really?
And then you just get days where you're like, okay, well, I can't relax at all that day. I remember Wednesday. It was always Wednesdays because like I did community service in the morning. It was like I had to leave to go to the main campus at 8 o'clock. I would get there at like 9:30. Then we would be shipped off somewhere else. We would come back at like 1. And then I have class at like 6 o'clock. So it's like, okay, well, 5 hours. What exactly am I going to be doing? And I can't go back to my own dorm because it's like a borough away. So I'm like, okay, this sucks. I ended up baking. I ended up going to a friend's townhouse and baking.
That's good.
Yeah, I didn't exactly do anything, like, adventurous. Huh. But, hey, why not?
Baking can be adventurous. You know what?
Cooking
is really adventurous. Baking is very exact. You have to be... I mean, there are things you can change, but a lot of that stuff is, like...
If you're a friggin' rebel, maybe.
It's inflexible. It's like... Yeah, or else it won't work, It'll just come out weird and bad.
Yeah.
Like flat or like...
Even if you, like, substitute flour for another kind of flour, it's like, okay, well, now I've fucked everything up.
Yeah, now everything is horrible.
I did that once. I'm like, these don't taste that great. These usually taste great. What the hell is going on? And I thought, it'll be fluffier if we do this. Nope. Baking hates us.
Once I don't know if this was on a lost show or if I'm just repeating myself. or if I just told this to someone else. But
is it canon now that we're just going to?
The Lost,
did we talk about
the
this on the
Lost
Lost show
episode.
that no one will hear now?
Back when we had Steve Martin as a guest.
God, that was a good show.
Yeah, Elvis was here. I made fudge when I was like 13 by myself, and I didn't realize that there was a difference between confectioner's sugar and regular sugar.
Yeah, this was Lost episode shit. I remember because I was talking about my friend that best birthday present I ever got was a box of fudge.
Okay.
Made from my friend.
That's how it all ties in.
There we go. See, now I remember.
So
Continuity is going to be out the window once we hit, like, I don't know, the 10th recording of this. Because I can't remember. I can barely remember birthdays.
it was the worst, though.
So,
It was like a box of like chocolate sand. It was just like all like because confectioner's sugar is so much more.
some stay dry and others hit the land. Chocolate sand.
Oh my god! Like imagine if the recipe called for marbles and you put in like boulders or something. Like it was just like that's a horrible analogy.
And yet I can still sort of get what you're getting at.
Like the confectioner's sugar is so much finer that it would just mix in and create this like
It's
cohesive
it's like a dust.
thing we call fudge. And
this one was just kind of like crystals.
this was just like sand with all the other. This was just like sugar. Like imagine just filling a cake pan with sugar and a brownie pan with sugar and slightly flavoring it like chocolate. Like that's what it was.
You know, just in that moment, I'm just like thinking, Bernie Bot's every flavor beans. You ever heard of those?
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually sell those, and
Yeah.
that's been a thing for I think a better
Some
part
of
of
them
10
are
years.
bad flavors, right?
Yeah, like there's
vomit.
vomit and booger and dirt. I'm thinking sand needs to be a flavor,
Sand?
and like just to fuck with people.
It's really more of a texture.
No, but like just to fuck with people, they'll actually put sand in the beans. Like they will go that extra mile to be like, "You're eating sand. What the hell did you
It's
expect?"
horrible. It's like
Well, if you have fucking vomit in there, and I
Yeah.
actually tried that once, and it was terrible. I had no idea what it was.
yeah, dead dove, man. What do you expect?
Dead dove.
Dead dove. You know, dead dove. The Arrested Development.
Okay,
meme.
all right. Oh yeah, that one.
There's a yeah.
God, that's been a while since I've seen that. Anyways, so taking the show back to its roots a little bit. Well, the past 2-3 episodes has basically been like whatever we want to talk about, and we originally started this as a hey, let's talk about weird news.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna try and bring this back to my roots a little bit because I saw when I was browsing through the internet a story about a little girl with leukemia. She had like this Make-A-Wish. You know that organization?
Sure.
She had a Make-A-Wish where she wanted to, I believe it was, have a carnival in her backyard, like a merry-go-round.
Okay.
And
Sounds doable.
like she was like sick for days and crap.
Right.
So she basically deserved this. Anyone who would
Right.
look at this little kid
Yeah.
who is like 6 or 7 years old would say, "All right, you know what? We'll do what we can. We need to do that." The Homeowners Association basically came out and said, "You can't have that."
Oh my god. It's not like it's a permanent thing.
No, it's not. Well,
It's not like, hey, we're gonna.
maybe it was.
grow,
I'm pulling up the article
like-
right now. I want to I want to make sure I'm getting my facts straight.
It's not
here.
like they were like gonna, remodel the house into like a princess castle for good.
6-year-old
like-
girl with cancer has 2 wishes: to beat her illness, and smart, and to have a playhouse in her yard.
Put a playhouse though.
But I saw a picture of her like in a carousel or something. So I think it was like one of those masterfully done playhouses. Like, have you ever watched? Have you ever watched Discovery Channel? And there's no.
Yes.
There's this guy who is incredibly gung ho about tree houses.
Yeah, there's this whole show about it, right?
Yeah, and my sister finally showed me that show, and I sat through an episode. And I'm like, this guy is nuts.
Yeah,
This
it's
guy
a
is,
little
like-
crazy. It's a little bit like, I don't know if this is still a treehouse or if this is just like, a house despite trees, like. But so maybe it was something permanent though.
Maybe, but can you like make an exception? like, not even knowing what a homeowners association does, I immediately thought this was kind of a mean-spirited thing to restrict a dying wish of a girl. A dying wish of a little girl. This girl is not going to be around for, like, 10 years, and you'll have to put up with seeing it in her backyard.
Yeah.
But just to give her, like, that little bit of thing. To give her a little bit of joy.
Mm-hmm.
And you're restricting that because it doesn't fit the theme of the neighborhood. The most that I know about homeowners associations is what I've learned from Hot Fuzz. Have you seen that movie?
I haven't, but I know the other movies of that dude.
Wow. I think...
I don't think I have any. Yeah, no.
I think we're due for a movie date.
I always, every time you're like, hey, have you seen that movie? I'm like, nope, I haven't seen it.
I keep forgetting that a lot of movies that I've seen are because my fiance, she is a major cinephile. So, I have seen
more... Is that
more...
a type of Pokemon?
I hate you.
Huzzah!
Yeah, no, a lot of the movies that I've seen are basically because she says, you haven't seen this? Well, we need to see this now. And I thank her for that because I never would have thought to do that.
Right.
But it's a lot of movies.
Movies are cool, man.
Movies are cool. Movies are cool.
I found a site. Now I can't tell you what it is, so like how uninteresting is that? But speaking of that, there's a site that has a whole... I think if you just search free documentaries, there's a site that it's got like a list of categories, and you can just find a documentary in any one of these categories and watch it for free from the site.
Oh.
So if you're in the mood for a documentary and you don't have Netflix or something...
Huh. But not to give away too much here, but in Hot Fuzz, the homeowners association was was based in this little English town called Sanford. Mm-hmm. Like they had the low crime rate, they had clean streets, and it turns out that the homeowners association was basically responsible for getting rid of the riffraff in the town and making sure that they won the best village award.
So they have like a secret.
Yeah, so it was like a secret culty organization. It turns out. And knowing that's basically what I thought a homeowners association does. I'm like, these are terrible, terrible people.
Yeah, they're generally... I think, like, the whole point of a homeowners association is to just, like, enforce rules and be sticklers about, like, you can't have a deck in your yard and your fence can only be this high, and, like, the people who are most active in them are the most control freaky, and
well, the idea of it doesn't sound terrible. Like, okay, you want the village to look nice, you want you want the place where you want to be, like,
it does do that kind of stuff.
It does do it, but it also does it in the dickish way possible.
Yeah, it's
like,
just like
like I started reading the comments, and like unanimously it's people saying fuck homeowners associations. Please, if you're listening to this and you live in a place with a predominant HOA, let us know in some sort of medium of commenting. Please, I need to know what other people...
Tell us about the most ridiculous thing that's happened as a result of the homeowners association in your area.
Yeah, please. Oh, that would actually make for a good story. But in the comments, it's people saying, oh, they got a citation for parking on the street. Oh, they got a citation for not having their hedges trimmed.
Right.
Like, why would anyone elect to be in these?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Where we are right now, cops were called to a house because a guy was washing his car in his driveway. Okay.
Okay.
I forget now.
What was that against the... You got me on pins and needles.
It had something to do with it being like in public view or something. And he was like, "Well, this is my driveway. This is my property. Like, this is my car. I am washing my car with my water on my property." And the guy was like, "Look, I don't really care, but if you continue to do this, like, you're gonna get a ticket from me because I was called because you're in public view." And he wasn't like, I believe in this. He was just like, look, this is what's going to happen. And the guy, his friend was there, and they filmed the cops saying all of this, and it became like a little story online.
Yeah. And you would think it's my property. I can do with it as I
Yeah,
wish, as long as you're not like neglecting to take care of it and it looks crappy and shitty.
yeah,
You would think you would be fine.
right.
But apparently, when you buy a house in a Hoa, like you're like subject to their rules as well. It's like you're almost renting the property from them. You know?
It's this. It's also like there are like apartments that are like co-ops like that, where everybody in the apartment has like a little stake in the situation they're living in, so they want it to be a certain way. And it's just, I mean, on one hand, it's like, okay, well, that's kind of like controlling, but on the other hand, it's like, well, you don't have to live here. Like, you kind of knew
Yeah,
this stuff when
exactly.
you got here.
Like I wonder,
Like,
does that mean like it's more affordable to live there? If you agreed to live by more rules that make everything look nicer, does that just mean it's a better neighborhood, despite the fact that it seems kind of Stepford?
I think that what is it? Your property taxes have to do with your property value, right? And your
Yeah.
and this whatever
Speaking
you call
from
it.
two people that have never owned a house before.
I just know that nicer neighborhoods, the properties cost more, and the property taxes are generally higher, and you end up paying more to live there. But it's also nicer, so
Like I imagine this is something in a gated community. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
where
yeah.
all the houses already look the same. Like
Yeah.
I can't imagine this being transposed where I live, because it's already residential. It's already like open to the public.
Yeah.
It's basically right off a highway. So I can't imagine a homeowners association working that well there. But a few years ago when I found out what it was, I asked my parents, like, do we have a HOA? And they're like, yeah, they meet up in that small building. No one really cares about them. I'm like,
Right.
oh.
I mean,
So
we
what
have
do
a
we
lot
have?
of rules here for like hedges and how things look, and you're not allowed to. We have our all our utility lines are in between the houses in the back, so they're not on the street in view. And your trash you leave at your side door on the side of your house, and the garbage men come to the side and take it, so that you don't put your trash out, so it's not something visible. And at night, at like 2 a.m, you're not allowed to be parked on the street from 2 to 6 a.m.
That you've told me about.
So, like, if you have friends over, like, they have to be in your driveway, or they have to go get a permit or something. I don't know. So,
Man, that
it's one way, and people seem to like it, I guess, or hate it.
well, I can't imagine people butting heads with them that much. I just imagine like a couple of old power hungry people going around and giving citations to people, like sticking them on their door in the
Yeah.
most passive aggressive way possible. Like, your hedges are too tall. Your hedges are too tall. Pay us $100.
Like, I'm sure nothing would have ever happened for the guy washing it. Like, I'm sure the cops wouldn't have stopped him for washing his car if they drove by, but that somebody had called and complained. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that they had to follow up on it because
Yeah,
their
exactly.
boss told
People
them.
exist that do that kind of thing.
Yeah, so...
And that's
And,
that's the person in college that had the single room to themselves and basically complained whenever there was a party going on past 11.
and then they became the RA.
Yeah, and then they became the RA.
The worst. I had the best RA sophomore year. He was totally... There was no hard evidence that he got stoned, but he just, like, appeared to be stoned all the time and was just very, like, hey, like, didn't say 2 words to anyone.
Yeah. I had two chill RAs, but then there was, like, one where I basically lived in a shithole,
Yeah.
and the RA basically did nothing. It stank of weed, and, you could basically hear shit going down until, like, 3 a.m.,
Yeah.
at which point I'm like, you've got to be kidding me on this.
I
I never actually ratted anybody out, but I was accused twice.
Right.
Like, but just because, like, I let it be known that I did not like what was going on. They were like, did you call? Because you're supposed to, like, tell us first. Like, you gotta be civil. I'm like, I never called. I
okay.
swear. I have no reason to lie about that now, not even knowing these people.
Right.
So, it's not like, oh, I'm still fearing for my life a couple of years out of college. No.
It's funny that the guy that was the RA I think he just had a very, like, subdued kind of, like, affect. Like, he was just, like, chill in life. And, like, that is the guy I work with now on Thursday and Friday nights.
Nice.
It seems like he's just, like, gets 3 hours of sleep and it just comes in and is just like,
hey man,
just coasting on like
coasting on low energy, like
coasting
he's
on
anaerobic
his
respiration,
like,
is kind of
momentum like is just slight.
like a sloth.
He reminds me of like a curling stone, just gliding into like he's just got enough energy to do the job, and that's it.
I can't even imagine.
That's
And I'm looking back at pictures now, because I still have friends that still go to college, and I'm seeing like who is an RA, and immediately my thought is, you really want to do this for the free money and free room and board that they give you? Really?
Yeah.
Really? I can't even imagine you being responsible. Why are you doing this?
I mean, as long as nothing horrible
As long
happens,
as no one burns down the dorm,
yeah,
I get it.
Like no one dies on your floor from a something, I don't know, riding a mattress down the stairs or something horrible, and then
It's seriously terrible that like college has gotten to that point where if you are really strapped for cash or you don't want to graduate, like
but it's not,
you want to like tread a little bit less water when you're graduating, you elect to be an RA and you go on less sleep and you have to basically babysit people.
Yeah, and it's I have to imagine like I would not want to be in charge at all. I wouldn't want to be around college freshmen like at all. You know what I mean? On a Friday night, they're
Because
just
it's
like,
a weird dynamic. You remember what it was like to be a college freshman?
I was somebody that had experience with alcohol in high school, and I'm sure I was like immature and stupid, but I was immature and stupid and experienced to a degree with alcohol, and there were a certain percentage of people in college, man, that had never been away from their parents.
Oh, the ones that go crazy.
Or never had been away from supervision.
The Catholic schoolgirl syndrome.
No experience with alcohol or marijuana or anything, and then suddenly
they go nuts.
And it's like, I'm sure there are other kids that weren't just the same as them, but had like self-control and like were disciplined, and these kids were just really like penned up by their parents, and now they're free and they don't know. And
I've unofficially dubbed that the Catholic schoolgirl syndrome, because they have the rigid rules. They have the parents that are very protective of them. They're like, they're sweet and demure, and then the second they get that little taste of freedom that is college, away from the family, you can do whatever you want. You're an adult now. They lose it.
They have no limits.
Like they fuck anything that moves. They drink to excess. They never show up to class, and like half of the time they like just drop out after that.
Or so, I mean, not.
There needs to be like a tiny bit of like responsibility that you give to your kids at that point. Otherwise, they turn out like that. And I say it's a Catholic school syndrome because, like, hey, it's usually Catholic schoolgirls that I see that.
Yeah, there were a few girls that they were kind of religious, I guess, and I remember they just annoyed me to a point, because I was coming from New York, like around New York City, and going to school out in Pennsylvania, and these girls were coming from like Connecticut or somewhere where it was like just as rural or more rural than where we were. Like I was taking it. To me, it was like, wow, this is kind of quaint. And like to them, I think it was like the city. You know what I mean? It was because the contrast was so different. And they'd go like, there'd be like some bus that would take freshmen, like a shuttle would take you for free or for $1 to like the shopping center nearby or something. And they'd be like, hey, have you ever tried chocolate covered cherries before? Like, this is amazing. And I was like, so someone told the girl like, oh, like you've never tried chocolate covered cherries before? It's like sex in your mouth. And so like this girl was just like, she would just repeat that, like, oh, like have you ever tried chocolate covered cherries? It's like sex in your mouth. It's like sex in your. And I was just like, oh my god, like
that is downright cringy.
You're giving me cancer, like I feel so like
that is cringy.
I need to like find someone who has some. I don't know.
It's like, have you ever? I remember midway into college, and this was like a couple of years ago. Midway in, I saw that there was a confessions page, a secrets page on Facebook,
right,
from a predominantly Mormon university.
Right.
It was like, what is it, Boston U? I always get those two mixed up. Is it Boston U or Boston College? Somewhere in Boston.
Don't know.
Let's Say it's in Boston.
I have no information on that.
And
my sources are poor.
There was like a collection of snapshots from there. Like, oh my god, we drank so much Mountain Dew last night because they did Mountain Dew beer pong instead of just beer pong.
Oh, yeah,
and
they drink.
There were people collaborating with that story, just like, oh yeah, I'm never drinking that much Mountain Dew again. I'm still pissing clear. Like, oh Jesus Christ!
I remember there was a party. There was online. There was a post about a party that was supposed to happen or something, and the campus police like found out about it, and they like planned to bust it. So instead of having any beer or any alcohol at the party, they instead had cake. So they made it like it was a party, and everyone had solo cups with cake in them, and they were playing beer pong with cups with cake inside. And so they came. Campus. They're all like stoked to like bust this party up. And all they had everywhere was cake. And there's photos documenting the whole thing online.
That's hilarious. Okay, so bring it back. A little. There was one thing that I wanted to go about. College freshmen are like, it's a weird paradigm because they were like the top of their class back in high school. They were the big shit on campus.
You become
then you're like back at the bottom of the totem pole. But they still have this mentality that is still on top. They're still like the cool kids.
Yeah.
And they also don't realize that like that doesn't really matter anymore in college.
I have to like they can be so douchey, but like I think I remember when part of it is that you don't have the same resources as someone older does. You don't have the ability to legally buy alcohol.
Yeah.
One.
You still don't have
you
that,
probably don't. You probably have to live in a dorm and aren't living in your own apartment or whatever, or house or something. So like people are having parties, people are established, they're in frats, they're in sororities, they have all this access to all this stuff, and you're this person that just needs and wants, and you're like you're blood sucking.
You're a mosquito. You're like a stem cell.
And
like you don't have anything.
There's nothing wrong with you. Yeah, like it's just though that there are so many. Like you're all the freshmen are in that position. So if I have a party and you're a bunch of freshmen, like I don't know you, we're not friends. You want to come in, drink my beer, and not even talk to me.
Yeah. Well, I think. And I'm going to postulate here. There's two types of freshmen. There's like the blank slates that are still trying to like find their way in and fit in.
Right.
They have some friends. And then there are like the train wrecks. Like back.
And not everybody is irresponsible.
CSG syndrome
in every way or in the same way. There's the kid who his mom always cleaned up after him, so his dorm room is like a pile of fast food trash, and like the girl who like doesn't shampoo her hair anymore, doesn't take showers, like and her hair is just like a thick, greasy
thing,
congeals.
There's the ones that like are so hopped up on freedom that just like they don't go to class because they're like, well, no one's taking attendance anymore. I don't need to go.
Yeah, and then I could never. I don't know. I was disciplined enough.
I had my own sense of discipline. Like I knew when enough was enough, and I had to buckle down and do stuff. But I still limited myself to like one sick day a month. You know what I mean? Because like when you're actually working, when you're like in the workforce, you still get sick. You still need to take like a mental health day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just knew, like, I wouldn't skip a class so much, but if there were certain times when there was
I don't hate the people that are
very opportunistic. Like I wouldn't just do it to do it.
Yeah. I would just do it because like, okay, look, I'm exhausted. I know it's only like a month and a half into the semester, but like this is a lot. So I'm just gonna sleep in. I'm just gonna take the day off, and I did, and I felt awesome because of that. I needed a mental health day, but I don't crap on people. I certainly don't like them for doing this, but I'm not going to shit on them because they're right. It's the ones that like remind you you're paying $50,000. A year, a semester to go here, and you're gonna skip out on class?
Yeah.
Why? You're wasting money. I'm like,
if you can divide it out and see how much it costs you per class, but it's like, I'm not paying for the class, really. I'm paying for the degree.
Yeah, exactly.
Be honest. If you could put down money and be given a degree without going to the classes at all, you would do it. A lot of people would. I mean, some people would surely want to get the experience and all the exposure they can, and classes are interesting and helpful.
Well, some are. But then you're kind of like stuck with well, what am I doing here? Like, I thank my lucky stars that there were online classes because I would never show up to some of these. There was like a class. There was like a history of American literature here, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna read Hemingway. This is gonna be awesome.
Right.
Read Salinger. Like, we didn't do that. We read poems and like contemporary stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about this stuff. I'm sorry.
That was my whole college career was all English classes and discussion and essays and
Well,
like
that's what you did.
yeah. And I would
That
never...
was an elective for me. That was like, I don't want to do this, but the school is making me. So, by all means,
it was like my thing.
I'll take my C and go.
I think what you have to be for an English person is good at making connections and like, so it's kind of like, maybe I didn't read this story, but I'm listening to what everybody's saying, and I can like bullshit something that is good, is like a valid argument or is a valid thing, and I can make you see why my argument is right, and
yeah,
then you
yeah,
know,
exactly.
the teacher likes that, I guess.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to be down on English majors for doing that. It's kind of a weird situation now when people are like, oh, you wanna go to school and do this? What about getting a job afterwards? Like, it's kind of tough for everyone now. Doesn't matter what degree it is. Well, I mean, yeah, there are some that are like more guaranteeing of a job than others. But
I don't know if I would want a job. I really liked doing English classes, and I'm glad I did them. But I don't know if I would want to be like in book publishing or like writing a column. I don't know. It's tough.
I think we both mutually know a guy that he's going for his master's and he's going to be a teacher.
Okay.
And here I am.
Do we both mutually know him?
Yeah, and well, he plays the game.
Yeah.
And every time I'm talking with the guy, it's incredibly hard to keep a conversation with him.
Okay.
He's kind of a bit self-absorbed in that fact, or he just kind of like does non sequiturs, and I'm like, I can't build off of that. You're telling me things I don't care about.
Right.
But he does that sporadically, so it's like I don't know. And he's going for teaching. I feel like that's kind of like that might not be the best thing. You know, kudos to you if you're passionate about it, but you also need to realize there's a social aspect to it.
Yeah, there's a very
Otherwise, you can't start off as like that scatterbrain teacher. You know what I mean? You got to build some tenure first.
Teaching as a job is a convenient answer to a lot of different interests and things. So if you're really interested in history, what kind of job can you get with that? You could be a history teacher. If you're interested in literature, there's not really a ton of practical jobs.
If you think about it, you learned it in college or you learned it back in high school. Someone must have taught that to you, so you could carry the torch when they're done. You could teach with any degree under the sun.
I mean, there's always
there
teaching
is
is a valid thing, and there's teachers who were really great and could inspire you to want to do what they're doing.
I think that needs to be like a requirement for teachers now, because you can, it's not enough to just teach somebody and make sure they retain it. You got to like teach them and make them want to learn it.
It's definitely like
that's where the good teachers are.
The difference between like a comforting like home cooked meal and like a Lunchable. Like some teachers are just like, here's a photocopy and this is due tomorrow.
Yeah.
but
I thought I was good with English, and then I like I had to take it in high school, 9th grade.
Yeah.
And that my teacher destroyed any interest that I had in it, because she wasn't even that great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, thankfully the teacher after her like inspired me again to like want to read again, but just damage was done. Salt was already poured on the fertile earth.
There's so many there's a lot of skills though involved. Like you need to have good classroom management. You can't let somebody disrespect you or get out of hand. Like,
it's a hard job. It is.
You need to have lesson plans and know what you're doing, and like I'm just not. That's like not a skill. What I am not skilled at is like, I know if I have to show someone how to do something like on a computer or if I have to teach someone in a regular life situation, it's often like I struggle helping them understand, and a lot of times it's more convenient for me to just do it for them and then just continue to have to do that for instead of teaching a man to fish, I'm constantly fishing for someone.
Yeah, well, I think that's what a lot of teaching has turned into. But I'm thinking when people wake up and realize that, or like they already have and they're already working towards to fixing it, then we can like get back on track.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Let me just. Do you have anything else to add about that? You're gonna.
Well, not about teaching, but I was gonna tie into college.
College.
Yeah.
So
that was another segment that I had planned.
I'll tie this in maybe to college too then, and ask you
Good.
Off the cuff.
I don't even have cuffs.
So
all right, we're off to a good start.
Are there any hobbies that you're thinking about picking up, and how do you do you feel like you have room in your life for a new hobby? At what point do you consider like? Are there things like that you have on the just like always been interested in?
Brew making.
Brew making, right?
Yeah, I want to make my own cider.
Okay.
But that, seeing as how it's been like cold as balls lately, I don't think I can start that until it actually gets to a good enough temperature. So I'm waiting till the spring.
I recently had Angry Orchard for the first time. It was very good.
Yeah, see, I want to make shit like that.
I've had some ciders, some hard ciders at some bars, and they're okay. They taste like they have the edge of alcohol, and they taste kind of like appley. But I have to say, man, Angry Orchard was really. I could see why people like it. It's like super sweet, but like to me, it was really sweet. It was like candy.
Yeah.
But...
Second part of that. I have no idea when I have time. Basically, my weeks are divided between: do I go to my girlfriend's house and just kind of like hang out there? Do I stay home and just kind of focus on me? We have the show on Saturdays, and then Sunday, like my girlfriend's entitled to basically all of my time. I'm like,
that was like the downfall of my last relationship was we really only had time to see each other once a week. So then it became very pressured, like that we would have a good time for that. You know what I mean? It was like this is the only time I'm going to see her. So like if we have some kind of disagreement or argument, like it's almost like, well, what am I going to do? Like come over and like fight with you and then not.
Yeah.
Like, so I would just, like, squash a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm hoping that a lot of this whole time management with me and her might fizzle out. It should when we're living together because, like, now there's no discussion of who's going to spend time with who. It's like we're already living together. We're already spending all of our conceivable time together except when we're not.
Well, there's going to be times, even if you're living together, you're going to need... some time to yourself.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not. That was kind of like an out there question with your off the cuff stuff.
Right. I don't know. Not that I'm thinking about.
What brought that up? Seriously.
I don't know. Hobbies. I'm just thinking like.
That's like something you ask on a first date, for Christ's sake.
I have I've always like. Investigated different hobbies and
sure you have. All right.
Have like to a not to a great extent, but I'll like try stuff out and then it's like I'm not so passionate about it that I'm gonna continue doing this. Okay. But I enjoy it I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, this took like an odder turn.
Yeah.
I do have one thing. It's kind of like an annual passion.
Okay.
Seriously. And here's the tie-in. There we go. We actually tied this in back again.
See?
College that I went to, and I hesitate to call it alma mater because I think that implies that I am more proud of it than I am not.
Yeah.
I think that, my alma mater.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the glory days there. Staying in my dorm room and catching up on Breaking Bad. Right. Yeah, I remember. Those were the great days. What they do is every year in April, about a month from now, they do a 5-minute movie fest. You basically have to make a movie in a week.
Nice.
And first year I did it, we won Best Comedy. Second year, I decided I didn't want to be in it. I directed it, and I worked with someone else's script, and we won Best Comedy. And now I want to like defend my title for the third friggin' time.
So wait, even though you're not going there, you can enter.
That's the thing. I think I can. If I'm just involved,
you don't know. Oh.
If I'm just involved in someone else's group, I can't sign up myself But if I'm a part of someone else's group, then I'm still taking part.
Nice.
So I think a couple days from now, I'll probably be like, hey, people who go to this school, put me on your team. Because, last year I had this idea
just
of...
wander and just knock on some freshman dorm doors. Hey.
Hey, you remember me. Let's do a movie.
We're friends now.
I'm hoping the fact that I won Best Comedy twice will at least entice some people. Because I know some people that do crappy comedy movies, and I thought last year's was bad, and we won. So I'm like, okay, maybe I think we're still swimming in the kiddie pool. But so let's be king of the kiddie pool for a little bit.
So these people, you won't know them. So how do you know if they're going to be like horrible or not?
One of them will be my friends at least.
Okay.
I'll scout around through them. They'll be like the producer.
Like, what if you get on like a team of like people that are going to make a dud?
No, that's the thing. I'm going to be directing it, and I'll make the script. And I'll basically tell them...
Just kick everybody's ass.
Yeah, because last time I actually took directing seriously, but I was using someone else's script, and I never thought it was funny to begin with. I edited it on the way there to make it funny, and he had a couple of good ideas, and I'm like, okay, here's how we're going to build off of that. But overall, I didn't think it was the best that it could have been, but we still won.
Okay.
So... I don't know. I don't want to crap all over everyone, even though I just did. But I don't have the best. Yeah, I just did.
I think I like that movies are like this. Like I like projects where you maybe don't know where they're going, but you have like you have some things. Like, here's this deadline that we have, and the movie has to be 5 minutes long. It can't be longer than that. So that's what we're working with. We have to have a 5-minute movie by this date, and it can't be longer. And those are our. You need some constraints, but with anything, with writing a story, whatever. But I think so without those, if you were just I think I'm gonna make a movie, and you had no deadline and no limits,
then I don't know.
It would probably be really crappy then.
Yeah, but this one is a week. It doesn't say you have to write it within that time, because that would be weirdly enforced.
Right.
But I already have 2 ideas cooking up in my head. We get the equipment there, and we have a week to shoot it and edit it and submit it back.
Okay.
So I'm psyched for it. I have 2 ideas, one of which I wanted to do last year. The first one was I wanted to take a shit ton of action movie cliches.
Okay.
And just compile them into one fake trailer.
Right.
But also be ridiculous. One person was going to be a British spy, and he was going to team up with this renegade cop with nothing to lose, and we would just use all of the cliches with that. It's you're a loose cannon, turn in your badge, and then later on it's I'm gonna get you a new partner, and on the other side of that there's the spy just kind of this is the deadliest enemy you've ever encountered, and he's going to take Switzerland hostage. You get the spy gadgets. You also got the cop just wildly shooting.
Right.
I had this amazing scene. I'm probably gonna give all of it away, but whatever. This is my creative process here.
Yeah.
Where it's quick, cut the green wire, and then it's a shot of him freaking out, just going, "They're all green."
You gotta have the intro with the cop going after some informant or somebody, you know what I mean, some mobster or something, and he's there a second too late, but or he's undercover, but there's another cop there, and he's he's just talking about it's tomorrow's my retirement, and then he gets shot 80 times. The retirement guy is great.
Oh my god, yeah, that's That's a trope that's used every
hours and I'll be retired.
He was one day away to being locked in the safe, where all the cops one day away from retirement were gonna go. So that was my original one. It's probably going to be a lot more sporadic, but it'll totally be fun. And the second one I had was a mockumentary about this club that I wanted to start called the Brotherhood of Different Hats. I wanted to be almost Illuminati based, but it's just they're so fucking
that would
weird.
Be good
what the hell
for
do they do?
5-minute thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot of visual.
I wanted to get fake interviews with people, just kind of so you're part of the Ladies Auxiliary Brotherhood of Different Hats? Yeah, but you can't acknowledge that they're actually there. Yeah, that's right. How do you explain that? We don't. And there would be like a couple of like weird scenes. It's kind of like she's trying to explain what the Brotherhood of Different Hats are, and then this like members of them just kind of like come out of nowhere, just like, heard you were talking shit. Like behind it, heard you were talking shit. The person she's talked to is replaced with the person, just like, heard you were talking shit.
And each of them has a different hat on, like a coonskin cap,
yeah, exactly.
or like a Robin Hood hat.
I'm gonna take that coonskin hat for that. But yeah, like, I already have the entire thing planned out. I just gotta write it. I don't want to write it before I actually get people who are committed for it.
What you need is to have so all these people are like bombarding this person and coming out from like blind corners and stuff, right? With their different hats being like, it's like the Illuminati with hats.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Illuminati with hats.
So then what you need is for one dude to be like wearing a ridiculous hat, like just like walking by with a coonskin cap on, and the guy reacts to him, and he's just a normal dude wearing a coonskin cap for no reason. He's not in it.
Oh yeah,
he's just like,
oh my god, that would be funny. All right,
just be like, what are you doing? To be like, just like grab him and shake him or something. What are you doing? And the guy's just like, what?
Off to math.
I
have English 101. I'm going.
Yeah. He's like on his way to like do a Davy Crockett.
Oh yeah, that
speech.
My
school.
Dad's hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have so many good ideas. I might end up going with that one, but I need a fucking crew first. I need camera people. I need actors.
Yeah.
But I would so goddamn love to do it. Cool. I don't want to end it with last year.
Oh yeah.
Especially since when we won that. When we won that, we got a director's chair, one of those fold-out chairs with like the
oh yeah.
Yeah. And my friend held on to that, and I never got it.
Oh. Well, maybe this year you'll enter and you'll get all stoked. Well,
I want the chair. That's all. It's a piece of furniture.
Maybe you'll enter this year and you'll lose, and then it'll become this like gambling addiction where like you're just one more, and like and then like 10 years.
Well,
from
I would hate to think that my friend that originally got me to do this is my good luck charm. And like it was all him and none of it was me, and I'm like, oh god, that'll be like,
you'll be this like old man with like these college freshmen, and you'll be like, no, do it, another take, do it again.
I'll be the friggin' Stanley Kubrick of college freshmen, like 127 times. Then I'll be dead.
That could be your movie.
Yeah. Well, I've always wanted
the guy who's obsessed with the
I basically want to
so
do
meta.
Yeah. I basically want to do cool things on the internet that people are already famous for. Friggin' sketch comedy and voice acting. Why the hell not? Mm-hmm. After all, they seem like cool guys, and they do something funny. It's... Oof. I don't know. I'm fine with where I am.
Okay.
Yeah, there's that.
Keep telling yourself that.
Oh, shush. Shush. I might have a very weird weekly schedule, but hey, I'm happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
I just... So that's what's been going on with me. That's basically what I had.
Nice.
I've been listening to other podcasts, and have you ever... Probably not, but have you ever heard of Sleepycast?
No.
It's basically a couple of animators on the internet. Like, they got together, they basically made their own production company, and they do a podcast, and I was listening to it at work. Big mistake, because they're fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah? Laughing out loud at work.
Yeah, I listened to their first episode, and they basically screamed at each other about shit for 30 minutes. Literal shit. They were getting pretty spastic about it, too.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to think that we're better than that, but they're also more popular, so, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like that PewDie guy, man.
PewDiePie?
Oh, yeah.
PewDiePie.
PewDiePie, yeah, exactly. He's like, I can't be doing that. Can't be, straining myself.
Oh, excuse you. Pronouncing things correctly is your kryptonite.
Whatever. Oh, no. I mean, just, like, being like him. I can't be, like, this,
well,
theatrical crazy.
Well, I mean, if you were getting paid to do it, If you were
I
basically,
mean, I could. Yeah.
if you were making
it's not
like
that I
several,
wouldn't be able to do it.
if you were making several thousands for every video you did, you would go crazy.
It's just not the. I wouldn't be there because it's not the approach I would take. I guess.
Well, some people are just kind of like, oh fuck, oh Don, and he's just out of friggin' nowhere. Well, I think like a lot of that has to do with he plays like very spastic and scary games.
Yeah.
So of course the reactions are going to be over the damn top.
Oh yeah. You know what's crazy for me is riding on the train and then another train passes going the opposite direction.
And you hear like...
It's like you feel like the train's hit. Like there's this
Yep.
like air collision of... It's just air.
I can't sleep on the train for
But
that reason.
it rocks you. It's like... And if your head's like against the window or close to the window, the other train, you feel like your head came off. Like, oh man. I've seen people jump. I've jumped myself.
I've jumped. I can't sleep on the way home because of that. Like, it happens every damn time.
It's like getting hit by a train.
You hear it in the...
Yeah. It's so crazy. So there's that.
So there's that. That's why we can't sleep anymore.
Well, I can't. Yeah, it's a fear of mine falling asleep on the train and waking up like 80 stops later in another, like an hour away from my house, the opposite direction that I was coming from. I haven't done it, but it seems like it's inevitably it's gonna happen. I'm just like, because I'll close my eyes and I'll be like daydreaming and it'll just kind of like melt into that weird like semi-conscious, and then something will happen and I'll wake up and I'll immediately be like terrified, like where, what stop am I at, like where are we, like do I have to jump off the train right now? Like,
had that moment coming in today. It's just like, this station is Pine Line, that's where I got... No, it's not.
it's even
I like my heart was racing for like a couple seconds and then just, oh wait, no, I'm just retarded.
like I'm literally like, I'm not even like asleep. I'm like, I hear them announce the station and I'm not alert enough to be like, you have to get up now and get off. Like I'm just like, Mineola. Oh, Mineola. like the doors have been opened and are open and I need to like...
And you dash at the speed of goddamn light.
Yeah.
Like, does not matter. I don't know how people don't sleep through their stops more often.
It
That's
happens.
that's some deep snoozing right there. That's some deep napping.
Sucks, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'm not gonna come home on the train. I'm gonna end my... So tonight I'm gonna go into
This is
work.
starting to sound like one of those like movies. It's like one of those overly dramatic teen movie
crazy.
moments.
It's
It's
not
like,
that crazy.
tomorrow I'm not coming home. Where you gonna go, Billy Bob?
I won't be coming home.
I'm not gonna come home.
I'm gonna
on the
blow
train.
the asteroid out from
You can wait for that train, but you ain't gonna see me on it.
Yeah.
Billy Bob, where you gonna go? I'm gonna make it out for myself.
Oh god.
Billy Bob, don't.
It's gonna be tonight. I'm gonna get on the train at 7 p.m. Gonna go to work for 12 hours, and then I'm gonna get off the train. Well, and then I'm gonna get out of work and take a different subway to...
Oh yeah, because the one that you originally took screwed you over today.
It doesn't. It's not even gonna matter because I'm not gonna be taking the subway to get to the railroad to go home. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be taking a different subway to meet a girl for a date.
Oh, there we go.
So
there we go.
We're gonna have some brunch.
Mimosas! Bottomless
I don't know about
mimosas.
that. I don't know about that. I'm gonna be tired.
I tried making bellinis. That didn't work out too well.
No?
No.
They could be good. Whatever. I'm not very picky about cocktails. I'll drink whatever's put in front of me. But I just know, like, I'm just
mop drippings.
I'm gonna be like getting out of this shift, and I'm gonna be, even if I sleep, it's just like my body's used to daytime being awake and nighttime sleeping, so my eyes get all tired and like my thinking is a little swimmy, and it's gonna be interesting because I'm gonna be meeting someone for the first time like that.
That's adorable.
And I don't know. It's such a new job that everybody's been asking about it, and I've been talking about it a lot, and I really don't feel like talking about it. So
don't. Well, you already get your fill of that.
Yeah.
Here.
Exactly.
All right. Well, you know what? Update us about that next time, okay?
Yep.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Next week will probably be our St. Patrick's Day episode anyway,
yeah,
right?
Sure.
Well, yeah, right.
We'll get some
Get some of that.
You get drunk and I crash my car into a pole, bringing you back to the train.
Crash it into a bridge, and then you won't care.
No, we'll go off the bridge.
I have my own gripes about that song, so whatever.
But right as we're going off the bridge, I'll pull out my Inception device and we'll slow time down and go 7 layers deep to the sour cream layer.
I feel like we're glossing over. I feel like we're glossing over a couple of points that they tried to make in that movie, but whatever.
That movie, man, it does not. Anyway, okay.
All right. Well, you know what? Keep us updated about that next time.
Feel free to email me pizza or.
Can you email a pizza?
I don't know.
I want that.
It'd be nice.
3D printers have come a long way.
You can probably eventually 3D print a pizza
and make edible.
But
I think first you need to have like edible plastic. Well, like, hey, come on, wax bottles,
food components,
man.
You know,
those wax bottles, those wax free bottles.
You'll have some kind of like dough that is like it's like ramen but powdered, and then it will like print with like one nozzle spraying the powder and another nozzle like spraying like a mist of water.
If there is some sort of position for chairman of the future, I want you to be.
Can you imagine like a pre-cooked but like powder and the nozzles swirl around and make like a crust?
I am trying my damn hardest, but I might need like a mock-up. All right, you know what? Let's end this.
All right,
let's end this. We're going down the rabbit hole.
Until next week.
He's Mike. I'm Dean.
Sayonara.
Sayonara. This has been GDP.